This power dynamic reminds me of this one time my IT thing. The manager of our technicians, let's look at our lead tech project manager, Chris. One day I went up to him. It was in our main room, the office, of course, where we all work, all three desks, all four. And I said, I got one question to ask you, something to that effect. And he goes up to me, all growling, looking down on me. I said, fine, go. And what's his name? The brother of the famous the singer. Got his name, but he went to our restaurant, my parents' restaurant in the mall. His brother did. Anyway, his brother, he's in the call it the break room. I wouldn't call it break. I'll call it the lunch room, because break is false word. He's looking at us. Looking at this power dynamic coming in, because seeing it as big as Chris is, huge and hulking, I'm still the better one, and Chris knows it. So it's funny, he's watching this in silent revelry, not revelation. He's watching and smiling inside, or maybe even smiling. I think he was smiling, seeing that I'm the bigger guy, even though he's taller. The guy, Chris, facing off of me. It was interesting. He was standing, the other guy standing. He was about maybe 20 feet away. Green shirt, I still remember him, green shirt or something, I think, maybe. But the reason why Chris didn't do anything was because he knew I had a gun. It's because at one time when somebody touched the car, him and Alan went outside smiling, thinking, what would I do? What's this guy do? We can always push around. And when they see me grab, first I went to the trunk, opened the trunk, looked at them, they're still smiling, and I whip on my gun thing, strap around me, and their smiles were gone. Anyway, then I go to the edge, listen to the sonic, and it has to jump down like this, about a few feet, like 2 feet. I'm standing there looking down, and there's like a shed, like a wood cover. You know how Sonic is. So I'm looking down there, it's right next to our, edge of where our we're neighbors. I'm looking down, scanning, and I would say, black or white? And he goes, Chris goes up to me already. I didn't have to look. He goes, white. I go, good. And I jump around, something like out of a movie, and I'm scouting it out. Maybe I shouldn't use the word scout. I'm looking out, stalking the guy. Couldn't find him, but so Chris knew. At that point I had a gun. He might have had a bat. He always had a respect for me. He always had my back in a lot of things. So he always had supported me in many ways. In ways my dad didn't. But I think one of the things, his best friend is Dee, and Dee had an issue with me, which I didn't understand until after a long time. Chris revealed it, so I understood it now. It's about the police. You can't trust the police, you really can't. Maybe some you can, depends on the individual. But the reason I bring that up is because of this power dynamic here.
I hope he backs down. It's just basically supposed you know him. Darth Vader is Emperor Palpatine's undisputed right-hand man, but he almost won. After failing to bring Luke to the Emperor in the you know him. Darth Vader is Emperor Palpatine's undisputed right-hand man, but he almost won. After failing to bring Luke to the Emperor in The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader would have been in a doghouse.
Get your 7'2" asthmatic ass back here, or I'm gonna tell everyone what a white.
Remember this Moff who was in charge of completing the construction of the second Death Star, Moff Jerjerrod? Well, in the original script, he was supposed to have a much more expanded role as Vader's rival or competition in the eyes of the Emperor. In a bunch of scrap scenes, he was basically supposed to be more like Tarkin, less nervous and cowardly, and actually would push back against Vader sometimes. You can see in this first deleted scene how happy Jerjerrod is to use his authority over Vader, telling him that he can't enter. The Sith Lord doesn't waste any time and immediately starts choking Jerjerrod for daring to speak to him in such a way.
Give him this command.
I will make his enemies.
Very good.
I love the way the two guards are like, oh shit, seriously about to fight this guy? I don't know, let's just strike a menacing pose and hope he backs down.
Mr. Sting, menacingly.
But in all seriousness,
Just that power dynamic is interesting. You see it, spoilers, you also see it in the Disney one, even more blatantly. Not as subtle, but you know, it's okay. It doesn't have to be the same, of course. I'd rather not be the same. I like the variety. Variety is life. But the issue with the Disney Star Wars is they had way too similar.
I think they didn't protect Jar Jar because their job is to protect the Emperor. If Vader had killed Jar Jar and then tried to get inside the elevator, I'd like to think the guards would have then tried to stop him. I think it could have potentially been pretty cool. Darth Vader versus the Emperor's Royal Guards.